Greetings and salutations, and crap. Welcome.
That was it.
Welcome.
Perfect.
That's it. We nailed it. And thanks for tuning in.
Hell yeah.
Great time. Good job, everybody.
And the winner for the best introduction in 2018 is that one.
Hey. All right. Well, anyway, this is Rapid Fire. This is the time we answer your questions. Some of them are great. Some of them are not great. Let's get started with one from Tommy Ratliff, who says cherry toaster strudel or strawberry.
I'm going to be honest, my only knowledge of toaster strudel is from the movie Mean Girls, because I don't think toaster strudel exists in Australia.
Is this like toaster strudel as in, like, is a Pop-Tart a toaster strudel, or does it specifically mean toaster strudel, the name of the brand competing with Pop-Tarts?
The company
I'm more
toaster
confused
strudel
now.
that makes, the brand.
No, I think those are Pillsbury toaster strudel. I think that's
You
just
don't
the...
have to do all that.
Just answer the question,
I
cherry
don't
or
think my
strawberry?
father,
Boston cream.
the inventor of toaster strudel, would be very happy to hear about this.
So the cool thing about the toaster strudel is it comes with, unlike the Pop-Tart, which comes pre-frosted with this like
Okay, I don't know
hard
what a
shellac.
Pop-Tart is either. Are these desserts?
They have them in the machine. They're disgusting. It's like, imagine if you had like two pieces of like really, really stale like graham cracker crust, and then they put like a weird...
I don't know what a graham cracker is.
Oh, forgot. Like a cookie cake, like a biscuit, like a
biscuit?
A biscuit, and then
They're just fake cookies someone flattened out, basically.
There's like a jam or like a preserve, you know?
Okay.
And then
Preserve?
on top of that, there's
What the
like
fuck is a preserve?
a layer. It's like
A preserve?
like a place where they put endangered animals.
preserve?
I just
don't
listened
know.
to the part where he said jam.
What is
Anyway.
a preserve?
So it's a thing that looks really gorgeous because it's
That
like
sounds
looks,
good.
It looks like
horrible description of Pop-Tart.
yeah, and what you said preserve.
all right.
A Pop
So it's like a
Tart.
bunch.
Is it a dessert?
No, it's a breakfast thing that makes your American kids.
But
fat.
that's like
No,
the
but
same
they-
as how Americans have donuts for breakfast, which when they're objectively dessert.
sure.
This
can have
can
it-
be either.
yes.
There are fruit-filled ones that people have for breakfast. They're like
I used to have toaster
cookie dough
strudels after
ones. people
school
have.
when I was very young.
Basically, Pop-Tarts.
I didn't get fat until my mid-20s because of alcohol.
Pop-Tarts
And I probably had
are
strudel.
sort of like they're almost cookie-like.
So
You
it's
put
just
them in
like a
the toaster and you
rectangle-
Put them down and
Wait, you toast them?
you
Let me
toast
explain.
them. And it,
a toaster strudel is a like small, flaky sort of breakfast hot pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got a very
So
thin,
it's like a croissant?
kind of, it's
But flat.
but flat.
Yeah.
I think you
And
know what-
inside
like
of it is
I mean,
molten.
honestly, it's like this size and shape.
you know like a Danish.
Yeah.
So like think a Danish, but it comes in the freezer.
Yeah.
Like it comes frozen, and you put it in the toaster, and it becomes instantly hot.
Oh, a
and
toaster
however,
strudel's
they
frozen?
come. They
That
come,
sounds
yes.
good.
Yeah, they come in.
And so the thing about it is that parts of it on the inside are frozen, and other parts of it are molten lava that will kill you.
Right.
It also
Bless
it comes with little condoms full of frosting.
Yeah, that's the most admirable trait.
Oh.
Is it's got these little spurt pouch
Which are
that you
like-
just kind of squeeze, squeeze, and you can spell. You can make.
Sorry, what was that noise?
Like that thing that the guy in Con Air hides in his throat to set the guy next to him on fire. It
Yeah.
looks like that, but it's frosting. It's just like a little. And you,
Mary
It comes with
Washington
like its own
asks.
sauce on top. Like
it's
it
like a
comes with
breakfast
its
KY jelly
It's
packet.
it's like a weird.
a strudel.
Okay, so which one is this? Is this
Strudel.
toaster strudel or is this a Pop-Tart? Or are
No,
they the
they're
same thing?
asking for toaster strudel specifically. Do you want cherry or strawberry?
She
I
doesn't
feel like
know
I'm
what
gonna
they
go.
are.
I would go with strawberry
Yeah,
based
okay.
on
Good.
that description. It
I would
sounds
go
all
with
right.
Boston cream is really good. Boston cream is a great donut, and you don't get it a lot in a lot
The
of
only
things.
toaster strudels I ever had, I think, were apple flavored.
Don't sleep on Boston cream.
Is that a flavor
Don't
of a
sleep on
toaster?
Boston cream. You'll wake up covered in ants.
Is a Pop-Tart a brand of toaster strudel?
No, it's
No.
Pop-Tart is a separate entity.
Pop-Tarts are
We'll go
much
outside,
more
we'll go to the vending
cookie-like.
machine. I'll show you a Pop-Tart, and
Yeah.
we can break it in half, and you can look at it. We can feed it to the dogs outside the office. It'll be great. Good
Have
time.
bad poops? Does it seem like? Is it the kind of food that gives you bad poops?
No, it probably makes you.
No, because there's
it makes
no
you crap
nutritional
pops.
value
I
in
don't
it
know.
of
There's-
any
it's
kind.
nothing.
Let me give you a secret cheat code about Pop-Tarts. If you see someone eating one cold out of the vending machine, that person is having a terrible day. That person, it's or a divorce or a break, or there's a loss. There's a thing that is keeping that person from being happy, and that Pop-Tart is not helping, but it's not hurting either.
Okay.
It's sort of like when you see someone eating Subway for dinner. Something's not
Before.
going well.
Oh no!
Right before the end of the day, I'll finish with Subway.
I've definitely done that before.
Yeah, I had Subway for dinner for a long time.
No, like I don't know. I've been sad a lot in the last year, but I haven't been like Subway for dinner. Sad.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's a lunch sadness.
That's a daytime sandwich.
sad way.
All right.
Or I think dinner time sandwiches are just sort of odd in general.
I
But anyway.
agree, but dinner time Subway.
Okay.
Sad.
Mary Washington asks, if you could take one movie world to explore in VR, what would you pick? The obvious choice is Harry Potter, but John Carter could be a lot of fun.
Harry Potter is a very good one because that was like the one thing that I took away from Fantastic Beasts is that I wish I could see his like little zoo.
Yeah,
VR.
Use his
That would have been
microwave?
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, his cool microwave.
His weird like suitcase like sex
Yeah.
dungeon.
Yeah, that you climb in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great in VR.
Blade Runner for sure. I just
Yeah.
watched 2049 again the
Yeah.
other day, and
Did you play the VR experience at?
I did. Yeah.
What was that? Comic-Con.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
think
The
it was
thing
very
is
good.
about that is that 99% of it took place in a car.
Yeah.
Which is like the least interesting part to me about Blade Runner is the sky.
Yeah.
Like getting down street level and walking into like the weird noodle shops and using the vending machines. I want that in VR.
Yeah.
That VR experience was phenomenal because you did it, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, your car crashes and then like the theater opens up and you take the helmet off and you get to walk around a set. And that was awesome.
was
I want
incredible.
that in VR. It was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite like sort of like movie
Activation
tie-in
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
activation.
It was great.
Andrew, what about you?
Before the disaster, Jurassic Park, like before all the dinosaurs break out and stuff, just like an actual zoo filled with dinosaurs.
That's a super good idea. I wouldn't surprise me if we got something like that at all. Actually, they've totally done that.
Isn't
They've-
that
yeah.
what's that game called? The one where you have the little chair and you go around and you
Pokemon
time
Snap.
travel and you take photos of the dinosaurs in VR. That's a game that
Pokemon
exists.
Oh yeah, the Robinson the Journey.
No,
Did it?
no. There's a separate VR game where you take photos of dinosaurs. You're on this cool little chair and you have to like freeze them and slow them down in time to take a photo of a dinosaur.
Dino
And you're
Looker.
like-
And then,
the name of it. It's a very cool VR game.
I went to
Oh, I know what that's
the-
called. It's called "Come Here, Big Boy. Let me get a look at them hooves."
That's it.
when I was in Chicago in July, I went to the Field Museum and they had a Jurassic World exhibit that was it was like all these like unbelievably sophisticated animatronic dinosaurs, and you walked through what was basically a zoo full of dinosaurs. I think it would be really cool in VR where they were not puppets.
I agree. I listened, Andrew.
Thank you.
They're laughing about hooves, I think.
That's a funny thing to be like, oh, that's what a dinosaur is.
You're literally crying.
It doesn't take much.
It happens sometimes.
I love a good dinosaur joke.
Oh, I was gonna say, this is weird. I totally watched. Speaking of Blade Runner and stuff, Ridley Scott has like an incredible. We're not gonna laugh about that anymore. We're both crying from the hooves sentence.
What do you call a blind dinosaur? Nothing. You respect that dude.
Oh,
All right. Anyway,
that punchline didn't go where I expected. That was very threatening.
so what makes Blade Runner so good is the incredible just density of set decoration. I watched Kingdom of Heaven, which is a Ridley Scott movie about the Crusades, and there's there's shots in that movie that are just like. There's so much going on in them, and it's partially like set decoration and extras and like CG in the background. There's a shot where it's like, I don't know, like Orlando Bloom's like sitting at his like desk and he's using his like medieval plume to write a letter or something, and it just shows this
It's
shot.
Orlando Plume.
Yeah, it's Orlando Bloom, and he's got this like it's just a shot of this like mouse running across his slippers, and it's like the most random cutaway shot. But like Ridley Scott was like, "Oh, we need to get a mouse for this shot. We got to get a mouse and a mouse handler to
very
come
good.
in and bring the mouse in."
That's
That's
actually
very
the
good,
rat.
Max.
That's the rat from the end of The Departed. He does a lot of movies.
Probably, yeah. It was one of his first
Famous
roles
dude.
in that one. But no, like I'd love to do a VR like historical thing that just has that level of detail to it, and just
Yeah.
be like, hey, here's I don't know, the city of Jerusalem in 1164 AD or whatever. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm excited about with that Assassin's Creed Origins like discovery exploration thing.
Yeah,
That's
that'll be cool.
Huge miss that it's not on PlayStation VR, but yeah. Jacob Meyer asks, "What's the worst board game you've ever played?"
Mousetrap.
Wow, you
is
were
a-
ready to go.
That game is a mess.
Is it trapping the mouse from?
But it's a
No,
great
it's setting-
contraption, and the fun's in the action.
It doesn't work. Setting it up is impossible.
What's that one where there's like something about a dad that's sleeping?
Don't wake
Don't
Daddy.
wake daddy.
That one's
Yeah.
also very upsetting.
Yeah, that's probably the
so
one.
there was this-
Something about a dad that's
Yeah.
sleeping.
There was that whole like series of games in the 90s that were like they're like
Who called it "Don't Wake Daddy"?
Well,
it's
originally
terrible.
it was called Papa's Drunk Again.
yeah. He's like asleep on a chair. Like
Yeah.
he's just like the dad from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
He's like passed out drunk on the
And he's got like a nightcap.
no,
Yeah.
none of
And then
that.
he wakes up.
I don't want
and
any of
he's
that.
just like, ah! beats his kids. And then you're like, ah!
Terrible.
Very upsetting.
Terrible.
No, I mean that was the
Kids are trying to
thing in the
sneak out.
90s where they're like, I got a great idea for a toy. It's a dad who wakes up, and they're like, who would ever play with that? And they're like, what if we made it a board game?
Have you guys ever played Thin Ice? That game is.
Is that the one with the
that?
little icebreaker?
It's basically like you just get a wet napkin and you put marbles on it until they fall.
No, I get that mixed up.
So
with,
it's like it's basically like this ring. It's like a little basketball hoop, and you put a napkin in it, and you pour water on it, and then.
Are
like,
you serious?
Yeah, and then we all take turns putting.
You're
marbles
not
on
making
it.
this up.
No, and so like you,
You
put a
win.
marble on
That's
it.
the worst board game.
Yeah, and then Max does, and then I do, and then Goldfarb goes like, "Oh, I hope it doesn't break."
Is
the
this
ice."
like that Switch game where you have to shake the bottle? I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Put my hand down. You have
But
to shake
much worse.
a bottle.
Yeah.
What I-
No, I
What
mean
are you
it's
doing?
like a
Shake a ball.
well, I didn't want to do the actual motion because
like a Jenga for
fine.
dumb people. Because Jenga's a thinking
yeah,
man's
okay,
game.
yeah, you win. You absolutely
Worst
win.
board game.
I was gonna
You
say
can-
I don't think I've ever played a bad board game.
Really?
Like I've liked everyone that I've played.
So I've played not bad in like a spectacular way, but like there's so many licensed board games that are bad.
Right.
Like there's so many like let's take a famous franchise and adapt it, especially the ones that aren't like official.
You know what sucks? They made Star Wars Clue. Like, and it's in the Death Star. It's like, who blew up the Death Star? It's well, it was those guys.
It was
those people. I don't like. What do you?
I've seen that film.
Who
That's
killed
why I'm buying
Obi-Wan?
this.
It was Darth Vader.
It wasn't the
everyone
bear,
saw
that's
it.
for sure.
There's no mystery. What's the mystery? It's
Funny.
I love
stole
it.
the Death Star
It's
plans?
set in the Death Star, but it's all the characters from Clue, so it's still just like all of the same people.
Where are we? What is this bleak hell? Yeah. So little confession. I kind of hate board games.
Really?
I don't like. I like Scrabble. Okay. I just for the most part, I just get impatient with them.
I mean, dude, I think modern tabletop games, I totally thought I felt that way until I sat down and realized, oh, I haven't played a board game other
So there's
than
one
like
that I want to buy
Monopoly.
called Kings of Tokyo that I really, really, really like. It's because it doesn't take an hour. You know, it takes half an hour around super, super competitive, moves really quickly, and like whoever's winning changes really quickly. And I don't know, I've been like planning to do a board game night for a while.
Yeah. I don't just
People do them here in the office a lot. They seem
People,
fun.
people have done them in my house, and I've been like, I'm not playing, and I'll just like sit on the couch because I'm like
Petting peppers, like I don't like what's happening.
No,
Yeah, no, it's a great thing to not do.
I think it's the people who really like evangelize them the most are
The worst.
it's like the same deal with like Harry Potter or like the Princess Bride where they get like way too into it and you're like, whoa, slow down over there. Just it's do your thing, it's fine, but like you just kind of scared me off. So I don't know.
I like to just stay inside my kitchen and eat all those toaster strudels.
I don't understand this next one.
Okay, Chris Anderson says, okay, here's hoping that it actually gets filmed and posted. Rapid fire. Yeah, man, thanks. Why do
I put that in
reviewers
there because it's funny.
why do reviewers hate the stuff we like, such as the Orville or The Fight Lights Out? So for the record, the Orville is Seth MacFarlane's kind of like kind of Star Trek send-off that is critics don't seem to like it, but I guess it gets decent reviews or something, or decent views. Then I had to look up The Fight Lights Out is a PS3 game about bar fights.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how those two things are lumped together. That's kind of like a
Also,
Well, it's
none of
also
us reviewed them.
There's also stuff like Justice League and Batman vs Superman. Or recently in reverse, we saw an incredibly high critical average for The Last Jedi, and fans revolted against it for some bizarre reason.
it still was like the highest grossing movie of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had, like,
we
a
showed
few
them,
people- yeah, I don't
but no, I think that like there's this sentiment that there's a growing disconnect between audience and critics, and I will maintain that critics are fans who write better. That's really it.
I imagine that because sometimes the reception on both of those ends does seem like very far off from each other. And I imagine that there is just a certain kind of way of thinking that leads you into wanting to be a critic, and therefore your viewpoint is automatically different on average. Like, of course, this like varies dramatically, and we have people who disagree with other people's review scores in the office. Like, I didn't agree with our Last Jedi review score, and I get that that's like super branching, but I feel like this does happen enough that probably people who are critics naturally look at things in a different way,
So-
or analyze things differently.
Criticism on the internet sucks. I think it for the most part is people miss the point, and we see this with stuff like Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, where it's trying to quantify the value of something, like saying it's like a report card. It's saying whether or not something's good, but like you want to see like good criticism, like look at art critic, look at something that doesn't have like a
A
review
number at the bottom, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think that really good criticism takes something that's got substance to it, and they point out what makes it good. Like if you grab any art book of like about a painter or something, and you read like the essays that are in there, it's explaining what this person was doing that makes them worth talking about.
Well, it's also it has a shitty name. It's like Obamacare.
Yeah.
Like it's doomed, right?
But the thing is-
because critics are like inherently not critical people. It doesn't mean that they're taking something that's perfect and they're chopping it away at it until it's nothing. Like critics don't start with something like, this is 100, I'm going to knock it down to 70. They don't walk in like going like, well, this is going to suck and I'll tell you why. Like criticism sounds critical and it sounds negative inherently.
Kind of be positively critical. You're totally right.
Yeah, but it's a tough word to use to be like, I'm a
Yeah.
critic. Oh, so you dumb things?
On the other side
No.
of that, you also have to be critical. Like, I mean, like when you are not reviewing something, you get to say, oh, it's broken, but I love it. But when your job is to review it, you have to say it's broken. You know, like you can't.
Man, if
like,
you made me review Deadly Premonition, I would just cry.
well, exactly, and that's the thing.
Wouldn't
Like,
like that at all.
there are games that I love that I would give low review scores because, like, I enjoy every part of them. But you know, I your
Deadly
job is
Premonition.
to,
I'm
yeah,
playing
exactly.
I'm playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp or whatever, like for 30 minutes a day, and it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not a good game by any means, but it's fun. Like I'm playing it as much as you play Pokemon Go.
Which I guess is the difference, is like people who just are a fan of something. Like I've never criticized Deadly Premonition publicly, but if I were to write a review, I would have to. I'd be like, yeah, this gameplay is garbage.
And that's why I don't envy having a review like The Last Guardian or something like that, where it's like a beautiful experience, but it's marred by technical issues.
I think games especially suffer like in terms of criticism. Like what is it? Like they started out as a product and a toy and like a children's medium, and that's, I mean, it was a thing you'd go to Toys R Us and buy behind the counter. And the idea of a game review was to be like, should I buy this? Is this worth the price of admission? And now that games are kind of like actually like they're art, they're doing incredible, amazing things. And I think sometimes people approach a review wanting like, do I get it or not? And you're like, well, what's this person's like actually kind of pulling it apart and trying to examine it more
and
closely.
steering back to the question, like that's what it is. It's that like there are a lot of things that fans really enjoy that reviewers tear apart, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that like as a fan, you get to just enjoy something, and if you watched it and you laughed, you'd say, "Wow, I really like that." But like when you're a reviewer, you have to criticize it. You have to say,
yeah. And I don't think critics are trying to tell you that you should hate a thing you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's where there's a massive disconnect there, where people are like, if I walk out of a movie and I'm like, I liked it, and I go on Rotten Tomatoes and I'm like, they didn't. They're not saying that I'm an idiot. They're not saying that I shouldn't like what I liked. They're not trying to remove that joy that I experienced. They're trying to tell me why they didn't like it. And critics bring their own set of baggage into a theater sometimes, and sometimes that baggage is good and sometimes it's bad. Like if they can walk into a movie and be like, oh, that scene in Canto Bight in The Last Jedi was based on a painting and I really like that painting and I am able to identify that. Like that's a level of expertise that, you know, the average Star Wars fan doesn't carry into a theater. And that maybe enhance that person's experience. Like if you really, really like Batman and you walked into the newest Batman movie and you liked it because of that, that's great. But
the newest Batman movie is terrible, by the way.
It's it's not
Batman and Harley Quinn. It's very bad.
Yeah, and also Justice League is a Batman movie. Like it's a bad movie about Batman. Like Batman deserves
that one
a good
also.
movie.
Yeah, that is he is a really terrible representation of Batman.
Yeah, which is weird because
and he deserves better.
In Batman vs Superman, I walked out like, well, maybe we'll get a good Batman movie out of this. But in Justice League, especially, I thought Batman was just
he's not Batman.
Ineffective. Yeah, it's really weird.
Anyway, we should probably wrap things up here. But you know, I mean, the point of criticism is not so much to tear something apart or destroy it. It's to kind of like just examine a part of it, you know, and to look at it and what it does well and what it doesn't do well, or maybe see it from a different perspective. So, you know, the next time you read a review or something you don't like, don't immediately have a knee-jerk reaction to it. Just kind of think about it. And
what I always say to those people is I always say, like, write about why you did like it.
Yeah.
Like, do that. Because that already puts you a step above the average person that's like, well, I liked it. I'm like, well, why? Yeah. Like, write it. If you love Justice League, if you hate The Last Jedi, like, write why. Like, see how that makes you feel. Like, type it all out and post it somewhere for people to read.
It is interesting that people get angry when we write something that's negative or positive that they don't agree with, because I can't relate to that. And I wonder if that's like because we disagree with each other all the time or something.
Yeah.
But it is weird to have people be like, how dare you not like this thing? And I'm like, I can't imagine feeling that way. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just wonder where it comes from.
Yeah. Well, it's defensive. People get defensive and protective over the brands and the characters that they love.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You can understand that. Like there were some hot takes on The Last Jedi that I was like, that was just like completely wrong. Like you're completely incorrect, you know? But I grew up with that franchise, so I get sort of protective over it. And, you know, sometimes I feel like things go over people's heads. So yeah, I don't know. Write it out. Like see how it makes you feel. I think that's smarter than just yelling.
Agreed.
Anyway, if you want something smarter than just yelling, go to subscribe to the other different YouTube channels. But if you want lots of dumb yelling, subscribe to this one right here. Just hit that little button and the bell and the likes and the comment
The bell.
and hit the star button and then all the faves and do all the different things. I don't know how to YouTube.
Like, comment,
Almost as
subscribe,
good
bye.
as the intro.
Follow us on Onceal.
Send us another LinkedIn notification. They keep going to the spam. I don't know why they're doing that. I sure want them. Anyway,
I just started a new account on Strudel. It's a great site. It's full of cream.
You rate your favorite flavors of Pop Tarts?
Let's go get you a Pop Tart.
Hell yeah.
I don't want that.
No, we're gonna get it for you.
Okay.
You're gonna like it. It's gonna taste like
I think Justin has a big box.
We're going to take you out and get you Pop Tarts,
Beyond.
dinner,
Dan's kicking us out.
dinner Subway, everything. Good night.